Conditional Bride Part 8. Writer Antuti Sarka. As soon as Sarovi stepped inside the house, she stood there, mouth agape. The entire place was decorated with such beautiful and modern things that she couldn't help but stare in awe. For someone as poor as her, seeing a house like this, even from the outside, had always been beyond imagination. Sarovi thinking, truly, he's such a great man. Why would someone like him ever accept a girl like me as his wife? No, I mustn't forget my place. I don't want to fool myself with false hopes of light. Otherwise, pain is all I'll ever earn. Lost in these thoughts, Sarovi didn't even notice when Bradabir went off to his room. When she finally came back to her senses, she looked around and realized that there wasn't a single person nearby. Sarovi, oh no, where did he go? In such a huge house, how will I find him now? There's not even anyone around. What do I do now? Where should I go? Tears welled up in her eyes as she looked around helplessly. Just then, a maid called out from behind. Maid, excuse me, ma'am, how did you come here? Who are you? Startled at first, Sarovi suddenly felt a little relief seeing another human in this vast, quiet mansion. But the girl's questions made her nervous. What would she say? Who was she really? In truth, she was no one in this house, only Bradabir's companion by a mere agreement. But she couldn't say that. Bradabir had forbidden her from telling anyone. So what should she tell this girl? Before she could think, the maid spoke again. Maid, what happened? Why aren't you saying anything? How did you come inside? Without Sir's or the guard's permission, no one is allowed in. So how did you enter? After thinking for a moment, Sarovi replied softly. Sarovi, ah, yes, I came with Bradabir, sir. His mother sent me from home to take care of him. The girl nodded knowingly. Maid, ah, that makes sense. I was wondering how someone could come in without permission. All right then, come with me. I'll show you the servants' quarters. Sarovi didn't know what to say. Her heart ached at the thought that even though she was now Bradabir's wife, she had to introduce herself as a servant in his house. But what other choice did she have? After all, she really had no place in Bradabir's life, nor was she meant to. Lost in thought, she followed the maid, who took her to a medium-sized room behind the lower wing of the house. To Sarovi, it felt like an average room, but in reality it was quite small. A single bed, a wardrobe with a mirror attached, everything in black. Still, Sarovi actually liked the room. Compared to the small rented place she used to live in, this was far better. She looked around curiously. The furniture seemed properly designed. Even the servants' quarters had an interior touch. Sarovi, to herself, oh my, even servant rooms are furnished like this. Rich people really do live grandly. She had accidentally spoken a bit louder than intended. Maid, ma'am, did you say something? Sarovi, no, nothing. So, what work do you do here? Maid, ma'am, all the cleaning around here, I do that. Hearing this, Sarovi's eyes widened. What? This beautiful girl does cleaning work. Unbelievable. Her clothes might look like a maid's uniform, but she carried herself so stylishly. After a pause, Sarovi asked, Sarovi, what's your name? Maid, Sheila, and yours, ma'am. Sarovi told her name. In a bit of small talk, she learned that every type of chore in the mansion had a dedicated servant. But since Sir wasn't home most of the time, only Sheila and the chef were around today. Otherwise, the place was always full of staff. After showing her the common bathroom, Sheila went back to work. Sarovi, too, went to freshen up. A few hours later. It had been almost 2 hours since Sarovi arrived at Bradabir's house. She had freshened up and was sitting with her laptop, trying to work. After finishing his third cigarette, Bradabir lit a fourth, and suddenly something struck his mind. He immediately called the downstairs landline. A few moments later, the servant Sheila picked up. Bradabir, in his usual deep voice, that girl who came with me, where is she? Sheila nervously, sir, that girl, I took her to the servant's room. Bradabir's eyes flared with anger. Bradabir, what, are you mad? Do you even realize what you've done? Why on earth did you take her to the servants' room? He shouted. Sheila, trembling in fear, said, Sheila, yes, sir. She said your mother sent her to look after you, so I thought she was here for that reason. That's why I took her there. Without another word, Bradabir threw the phone onto the bed. Bradabir gritting his teeth. How dare she lie like that? Who does she think she is? Calling herself a servant to humiliate me? I'll show her. He began packing the room furiously. And yet, Bradabir never realized, if Sorovi truly introduced herself as a servant, why did it make him so angry? He himself had refused to acknowledge her as his wife. But still, the thought of her living in his servant quarters, as a servant, infuriated him. Why was he so angry? Why did he care so much? He didn't even stop to ask himself. After a pause, he called downstairs again. This time, the chef picked up. Chef in Bengali. Hello, sir, yes. Bradabir, send me some coffee and snacks, and send them up with the girl who came with me. He hung up immediately. The chef stood there, dumbfounded. What's wrong with sir today? He muttered. He seems in a terrible mood. Then he started making the coffee and told Sheila to fetch Sorovi. A few minutes later, Sorovi, carrying a tray with coffee and snacks, walked nervously toward the room Sheila had pointed out on the second floor. Sorovi, thinking, why has he called me now, I wonder? Maybe he wants to keep me here as a servant too. The thought made her heart sink. But whenever I see him, my hands and legs tremble. The way he looks at me with those fiery red eyes, God knows what he'll do now. To be continued. To read the next part of this story, make sure to subscribe or follow, and don't forget to like.